Hello everyone, my name is Modupe Olakonye and this is a get started video on the basic stitches in crochet. I'll teach you how to make the magic ring, double crochet, the half double crochet, single crochet, slip stitch, how to join color and how to sew together decrease. I'm making use of 2 strands of cotton yarn to make it more visible for you to see clearly. 3.5mm hook. Wrap your yarn around your index finger lightly. Then you place this working yarn on your middle finger, then on top of your ring finger, and then back to your little finger or your pinky. So this is how to hold your working yarn, and this is your tail yarn. Make sure this tip of your crochet hook is facing your left side. Then you insert your crochet hook into your magic ring. Yarn over. Yarn over is also represented as YO if you are reading a pattern. Yarn over simply means you place your yarn on top of your crochet hook this way. Then you pull back through your ring to create a loop. Now remove your projects from your index finger, and this is what you have. This is simply what you have. This is your magic circle. Make sure your magic ring is in between your thumb and your index finger. Yarn over, pass through your loop. And what we just did right now is a chain. We just created a chain. So now we are going to create another chain, and to do that you yarn over, then you pull through the loop on your crochet hook. So make a proper DC. Yarn over. Now you have 2 loops on your crochet hook. Insert your crochet hook into the magic ring, yarn over, and pull back through. Now you have 3 loops on your crochet hook. Yarn over again to make it 4 loops on your crochet hook. Now you reduce from 4 to 2, and to do that you pull through 2 loops. Yarn over again and pull through the last 2 loops on your crochet hook. So meaning you're reducing now from 3 to 1. Remember, from 4 to 2 and then from 3 to 1. That's how you make your DC. To repeat that, yarn over to make it 2 loops. Insert your crochet hook into your magic ring and pull back through. Now you have 3 loops. Yarn over again to make it 4 loops. Now reduce from 4 to 2. By doing that, you pull through 2 loops. Now yarn over again to make it 3 loops. Now you reduce from 3 to 1 and you pull through the 2 last loops. To make HDC, which is your half double crochet, you simply yarn over. Now you have 2 loops on your crochet hook. Insert into your magic ring and pull back through. Yarn over again. Now you have 4 loops on your crochet hook. Reduce from 4 loops to 1 reduce from 4 loops to 1. By doing that, you pass through all 3 loops, 1, 2, 3. I'll repeat that. Yarn over to make it 2 loops on your crochet hook, insert into your magic ring, pull back through another loop, yarn over to make it 4 loops. Now reduce from 4 to 1 by pulling through the 3 loops. For single crochet, you just move straight into your magic circle, yarn over and pull back through 1 loop to make it 2 loops. Now yarn over to make it 3 loops. Now reduce from 3 to 1 by pulling through these 2 loops, and that's how you make your single crochet. To close your project, hold your working yarn, this loop, hold it firmly, and also you pull using you pull your tail yarn you pull it to close it. Insert your hook into the top part of your work, yarn over, pull through to make it 2 loops, then pull through the last loop to slip stitch. Again, insert your crochet hook into the next stitch, so this is another way to start your project or any other project you want to make, by starting with a foundation chain. Take your working yarn, this is your working yarn, and this is your tail, your yarn tail. Fold it together this way. Now wrap your yarn tail round the loop you just created, and then pass your tail yarn out while holding your loop firmly. And this is how to create a slip knot. So now reduce the size of your loop, yarn over. I'm making a chain, a foundation chain. Yarn over, pass through your loop to make a chain. That's 1 chain. Yarn over again, yarn over your crochet hook, pass through your loop to create another chain. Now I have 10 chains. Yarn over and insert your crochet hook into your third chain from your hook, which is 1, 2, then 3. Okay, now yarn over and pull back through. Remember, HDC is reduction from 4 to 1. So now you have 3 loops already. Yarn over to make it 4 loops, then pass through the 3 loops to give you 1. So now this chain 2, this is our first chain 2 we skipped, which has represented one HDC. Now this is our second HDC. Continue to make more HDCs. The purpose of making this foundation chain is to explain the 2 together HDC decrease. Turn your work To start our 2 together HDC decrease, chain 1, now HDC into the first stitch without completing it. Okay, now we have 4 loops, and you know HDC is from 4 to 1, so without completing it this time, you have 4 loops. Move straight into the next stitch, yarn over and pull back through another loop to make it 5 loops on your crochet hook. 1 2 3 4 5 on your crochet hook. Yeah, now yarn over again to make it 6 loops. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, now pull all through the 5 loops, meaning you're reducing from 6 to 1 through all the 5 loops. Okay, I'll repeat that again. Yarn over to make it 2 loops, insert your crochet hook into the next stitch to make it 3 loops, yarn over to make it 4 loops, you move straight into the next stitch, yarn over and pull back through 1 loop. Now you have 5 loops on your crochet hook. Yarn over again to make it 6 loops. Now reduce from 6 to 1 by pulling through all these 5 loops. Slip knots. You insert your hook into your slip knots and pass through the other loop, this other yarn, this way. So you chain 1, okay, and you insert your crochet hook into the first stitch and you make your HDC. Continue working HDC. This is how to join another color. Now to do that, one more time, slip knot, okay, pass through the other loop and adjust this tightly. Then you can cut the previous color, chain 1, now HDC into the first stitch to represent your first HDC for the 3rd round. So you keep working 1 HDCs for the rest of the row, not round. Turn your project to the back. Insert your crochet hook into any part next to any stitch next to your finished tail. Okay, you try to create a loop from the yarn you pass through, okay, and then you yarn over. It's just like making a knot, and that's it. Cut the weaved in yarn. Finish with your lighter. Burn lightly, burn and then press it down